Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Omega Insight. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I just want to get right to the topic right now. Today, our subject is the impact of social media. And I know that social media has a bad rap, and I'm not about to change that. No, I'm kidding. I know social media has a bad rap, and I kind of wanted to relate to some of the positives of social media and the things that we can do to help prevent it from destroying or causing chaos and stress and etc. So what I was thinking about is when I was 12 years old in elementary school, my school connected with a school in Sussex, England, and we became pen pals. For those of you who don't know what a pen pal is, back in the day, you would write a letter to someone on the other side of the world in a different country, and it was a way to get to know people, get to know the other cultures. And so I had a pen pal. She was in England. I was 12 years old, and what we did is you put a picture in your letter, and you wrote a little bit about, where you're from. I'm from New York, and my family, and my siblings, and being Italian, and favorite hobbies, and things that I love to do, kind of like a modern day profile. But back in the 60s, this is what we did. We actually wrote letters and sent them off. So my pen pal her name was Cheryl. And we were friends, pen pals, from the age of 12 all the way until 19 when I got to college and became a college student and just unfortunately lost touch with her. The thing that I liked about her is that we would write letters 2 to 3 times a month. As soon as I got a letter from her, I'd write another one and put it back in the mail, and she would do the same. I didn't have a lot of friends back then, and she was kind of like my friend, my safe space. I could write anything to her, and she never judged me. We talked about struggles with school and peer pressure and boys and dating. We talked about our siblings. She would tell me about her brother, holidays that would go on. So it was a nice way to connect with somebody on another that I didn't have to be face to face with. I really totally enjoyed it. Now, fast forward to social media. Essentially, that's what social media was set up intentionally. The original intention was to connect and to support one another. And my impression is that somewhere along the line, somebody got greedy and said, hey, we've got an audience here. What can we do? How can we make the most out of this? How can we make money off of this or whatever? But it felt like greed got in the way and it wasn't clean and pure anymore. It was more about making sales and selling information. And, phishing came introduced to that. So the thing is, when I think about social media, I go back to George when the internet first launched, and I'm old enough to remember when the internet first came onto the scene. George didn't want to have anything to do with it. It was a real big struggle for him to get a website. And online registration, absolutely no. And back then we used to print a newsletter. He really struggled with the transition from print newsletter to online newsletter, because what about people who didn't have email and they wouldn't be able to get their newsletter? And it took us a couple of years for him to finally come around with the idea of, okay, it's here to stay. It's time for us to upgrade and come on. But he wanted nothing to do with Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. Because his premise was always no networking, no solicitation whatsoever. He really wanted us to be a standalone organization. And that's one of the reasons why he would close the program down every once in a while, to prevent that from happening. His idea was people would be able to come into this classroom to participate and not be fearful that someone's going to try to sell them something or try to solicit or bring them into another brand. It's kind of like today, you shop online for, a pen. You shop online for a pen, and then before you know it, you're getting 1,000 pen advertisements and companies you've never been to, and hey, here's a discount, when you just wanted this one and that was it. So that was what he was afraid was going to happen. And that's why he would make no solicitation, no networking. He wanted Omega to be a standalone, to create that safe space. Now, of course, that safe space has begun to shrink. That's the correct word. It's shrank, where the safe space doesn't exist as much as it used to exist back then. Unfortunately, there's so much involved with social media and networking that it's hard to create that safe space or to be able to deliver a program without networking and solicitation being involved. A couple of months ago, I watched the movie The Circle. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. It's with Tom Hanks and Emma Watson. I was absolutely blown away by this movie because it's almost a replication of what happened to us, or what is happening to us. What started out as a good idea, hey, let's take care of each other, let's make sure that everybody wants to connect and is taken care of, started to spin out of control. And it also was an excellent depiction of how easily people can be swayed. Emma Watson's character in the very beginning, she didn't want to be interacting and didn't want to have to be socializing and smileys and thumbs up. And like, she had her family and life that needed to be taken care of, and yet she got pulled into it. And it's just really a great movie. I would suggest watching that. It's called The Circle, again, with Tom Hanks and Emma Watson. Really great picture of what's happening, I think. It's almost like a forecast of what's going to happen to our society, connected to social media. Then there's another movie. I know I've mentioned this before. I really think this is worth your while. When you're done watching me on social media, go to Netflix and watch The Social Dilemma. This was so eye-opening to me. I had heard stories about algorithms that were being produced to watch the amount of videos that the actual amount of time and what you're paying for and who you're liking and who you're following, and it almost felt invasive. And of course, I grew up with privacy. I grew up with the idea that I have a right to privacy, and that seems to be diminishing as well. Do I not have audio?
No, you're good.
Oh, is there something wrong?
Yeah, I just want to say it looks the way your hair is right there.
Oh, okay. I'm talking. Thank you. So, back to, excuse me, I apologize. Back to the Social Dilemma. For me, that was a really, really capturing my attention, and how much my attention has been drawn off and pulled in, kind of like just what happened now. When something catches my attention, off I go, and then I'm distracted. And then I follow the next one, and then I follow the next one. You know, you've gone down the rabbit hole. You go to YouTube and you watch a video, and then they have another suggested one, so you watch that one, and then you watch that one. And I have had hours, I'm shamelessly going to admit this, hours watching Graham Norton videos, to the next one, to the next, watching people I don't even know, but it's just funny to watch. And I go down and go down and go down, and hours just gone by. So that's how it has attached and captured our attention. Now, the thing that's dangerous about this is I'm spending so much time here and not time here. The actual interactions I'm having with people no longer exist. It's all here. I mean, this generation, I know a lot of people in this next generation, nobody wants to talk on the phone. They text. It's an inconvenience. I have people that they don't leave me a voicemail. They're not even going to listen to it because it's the text. Here, just text me. And it's the quick little, hey, or send a little sticky or an avatar, and that's it. And now, I don't want to diminish that, but it's like we're losing our personal connection with one-on-one. The feelings, the intimacy that we have with one another, that seems to be what's happening. Now, I'm not saying not to use social media, because I think social media can be quite beneficial. As I said, it was started to support one another. As a matter of fact, one of the guys in the video, The Social Dilemma, what he said was the like button, that was really to help people boost their self-esteem. it never occurred to them that it would flip to the opposite side and the hate was going to start to fly. And people started flexing their internet muscles. I was talking to my sister last night. She actually reminded me of this quote from Jurassic Park, but it's the Jeff Goldblum's character. He said, "We were so busy trying to ask the question, how do we make this happen? How do we create the dinosaurs? We never stopped to ask the question, should we be creating the dinosaurs?" And that kind of goes to the same thing with social media. How do we get it? How do we capture your attention? But the question should be, should we capture your attention, as much attention as we're being captured or herded into? So what I think about is, we can't stop social media. It already exists. There's nothing we can do about it. It already exists. So our job is, how do we adapt to it? How do we use it and not be consumed by it? I remember the first time I had money from a paycheck and I went to the candy store, kind of like Willy Wonka. You want to buy everything. And I remember I actually got to a point where I got sick of chocolate, where I just had to stop for a moment. I just couldn't have enough. Or I remember the first time I had a lava cake. If you've ever had the lava cakes, it is so much chocolate and chocolate syrup and chocolatey things and then adding on top. I actually couldn't finish everything that I put in my bowl because it was too much. And I think that's the truth when it comes to social media. We can have too much. Now, the question is, what do we do? Of course, I'm not the first one to come up with this. Obviously, you want to limit your usage. Not spend day and night. Unplug. At the end of the day, unplug, and that's it. You're done. Plug it back in. And a lot of people are now suggesting an hour a day. Monitor also. Here's another big one. Don't always accept a friend of a friend's joining this group and that group. It's important to align with groups that actually align with you. And the fact that you are just being invited, sometimes we do it because we feel like, yay, we're invited, but we're not really aligned with it. And then before you know it, you get wrapped up into bantering here and bantering there and fighting back and forth. And is that energy really worth spending? That's the question you have to ask yourself. I know that sometimes when I do go down the rabbit hole and I finally disconnect with my phone, I sit and I think, was that the best use of my time? Was that the best contribution I could have made? And most of the time it's not. I know there's other things I had to get done, and then I'm rushing now to try to get things done. So of course, the first thing is to limit our usage. Absolutely limit our usage. And then not be so reactive. Unfortunately, a lot of social media is emotionally fueled because we're invested in being liked. It's that drive, get your likes. How do I look? Unfortunately, so many, especially the younger generation, are so addicted to their likes, how many posts, who liked my pictures, and their self-esteem is so wrapped up into the numbers. And that's so, so unfortunate. To me, I think it's extremely unfortunate. So don't let the social media dictate your self-worth. Don't let it dictate your self-esteem. It doesn't matter how many people like your post. What matters to me personally, what matters is that you're expressing and making a contribution. Now, I know the numbers are going to go out there. No, you have to get your numbers. You have to get your likes. I get it. I know I'm going against the grain. What else is new? But I think the idea is, if I'm going to be online, how do I make a contribution with what I'm doing online? If I'm going to post, is my post going to be a contribution? Will it lift somebody up? I mean, this is from Omega's point of view. Will I be able to lift somebody up with what I'm saying? Or am I spending the time to knock somebody down? Now, there's times where you have to draw a line and have to say, no, this is it. This is my limit. I was talking to my daughter today and I said, during the last 9 months, I've unfollowed so many people. I still love you as my friend, but I can't have the constant bashing and anger back and forth. I can't. So just unfollow. I love the unfollow button. It's one of my favorite attributes of Facebook. I still love you. I need not to be inundated with the anger and the stress and the upset. That's me personally. So again, the things that I can do, I can make sure that I'm not overusing. Limit my usage. Limit to know I'm going to go online for an hour or maybe or two, but monitor it. Stop it at a certain, do a routine. 7 o'clock at night, I'm done. Don't pick it up at 2 o'clock in the morning because you can't fall asleep. That's not going to help you. It'll keep you awake the rest of the night. Delete the groups that you're not in alignment with. That's another one. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of groups that I really love right now. One of the groups is gratitude. I love this. It's just a gratitude. And all we do is post things that we're grateful for. And they're beautiful things from people from overcoming cancer, or people who are celebrating birthdays, or their sobrieties, or just a beautiful picture. My daughter told me another one today about what's outside your window. People are just posting pictures of, look at the beauty of nature that I'm looking at when I look outside my window. I love those ideas. So we're making contributions. As a matter of fact, I posted something, and what ended up happening was somebody reached out to me and did a friend request. And I'm very leery of friend requests, and my privacy is so high, you can't even find me if you know me, unless you know me. But she posted a friend request because she saw something that I posted on a gratitude and was very moved and wanted to connect. And I connected with her, and you won't believe this. She's from England. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a modern day pen pal. And to me, I think that's great. I get to connect with somebody in another country just on gratitude. And I love that idea. I love the idea that I'm consciously choosing, I'm mindful of what I'm putting out there, and I'm looking to make a contribution and increase our vibrations. Gratitude is a very high vibration, and naturally, that's what we want to do, is we want to have a high vibration. I see that Jen has just joined us, and she's one of the people that inspired me to unplug. She does this at the end of the night. It's family time, and you unplug. So thank you for, I'm probably just out of the fact that you're on, sorry. But that is one of the things that we do, is we have to be able to be in control of ourselves and not let social media be in control of us. So I thank you for taking some time out to watch this. I also want to remind you that on Wednesday, we will be posting another opportunity to express gratitude, because we love gratitude. It's wonderful for the soul. It's wonderful for your physical being, for your emotional state of being, and your centering on peace, as we can focus on the things that we're grateful for. So on Wednesdays, we're starting to publish and post gratitude. So on Wednesday morning, when there's a new post, just go on there and just type in something that you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be you could just be grateful to be alive, grateful that you're breathing, grateful that you do have a pen and you didn't have to go search for it. And then also on Friday, we will have another coffee talk. I've been trying to do it at different times because I want to catch people before they go to work and not too early. Somebody said, are you really going to do it at 6 o'clock? That's a little early for me. And then also, fingers crossed, we're working to try to get our website launched. So hopefully that will be launched by the end of the week. And of course, finally, latest, greatest, biggest announcement. We're going to, fingers crossed, Omega One, January 2021. We'll start back up in the classrooms again, which I know we've had a lot of requests for, and I'm grateful for that. And hopefully COVID will cooperate with us and we'll be able to deliver. So thank you again for watching this evening. Remember, 2 movies, totally recommend The Circle and The Social Dilemma. And then again, remember, social media, limit your usage. Be mindful of your post, mindful of the groups that you're aligned with. Thank you again, as always. Thank you for keeping the spirit of Omega alive. I will see you on Friday. Bye now.